Welcome to Fraud Friday. I'm Bob Coleman. Today we're talking about Marco Santarelli in my backyard in Orange County. He is an investor, author, and founder of Norada Real Estate Investments, a national real estate investment firm offering turnkey investment passive income opportunities. He has a podcast. He's the creator of Deal Grader. He purchased his first property at the age of 18. Quote, he successfully handled the entire rehab and property management of his first property without ever taking a course or reading a book on the subject. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Marco went on to get his real estate license and residential real estate license because of his love for passion to help others to succeed in building their wealth through real estate investment. He eventually returned to real estate investing and founded Norada Real Estate Investments in 2003. He was indicted Tuesday, September 9th, for a $62.5 million Ponzi scheme. In the bio that I read, he conveniently forgot to disclose that he filed bankruptcy in 2007. This is a little personal. I had a friend who lost money in this Ponzi scheme, small amount, but the three red flags in this Ponzi scheme: number one, too good to be true. Number two, this is highly complex, difficult for anybody to figure out. And the number three is any type of due diligence is look who you're doing business with, and a 5-minute public search shows up as bankruptcy. Mr. Santarelli, 56, was charged with one count of wire fraud. From June 2020 to June 24, he solicited hundreds of investors nationwide to invest in unsecured promissory notes ranging from $25,000 to $50,000. Here is his pitch. Predictable income with promissory notes, monthly passive income with interest of 15% or more. This is what he does. I promise high yield returns. Rates of returns are higher than banks, traditional low yield bonds, and higher than most stock dividends. You get regular income every month. IRA friendly. Hey, I'll take your IRA money and convert it all over. You have a rollover option. Too good to be true. He also had a bonus interest rate. If you invested $200,000, you got a 5% bonus. The list of companies he did business with in this started with real estate. He then branched out into e-commerce and, of course, crypto. He had Tier 1, Radio Shack, which I thought was bankrupt, Steinmart, which I thought was bankrupt. Anyway, the Franklin Mint, Model Sporting Goods, he threw all their logos out there and said, I got a variety of investments that I can make returns on my company up to 50%. And there was a lawsuit filed in Wyoming, and this is where I pulled this information up, that said, hey, we're not getting paid and we wanted a receiver. This was back in March of 2025. The receiver was never appointed, but they outlined what the case against him was. Again, they said these high interest rate returns, and that's a red flag to the SEC. Whenever they see someone advertising fixed returns, in this case at 15%, they're going to get very interested in that transaction. And again, it's too good to be true. Why is this guy smarter than everybody else that he can give you 15% when no one else can? And unfortunately, he's certainly not going to criticize the investors, because when you invest your money, and I'm going to give you some examples, you trust this guy, and they were scammed. He ran a YouTube channel, and in June 2024, one listener asked him, what would happen if Norada Capital converted the note to equity, and how would they gain interest back? Well, he was running into cash flow problems and making his payments on a monthly basis, because obviously for the Ponzi scheme, you need more money to come in to cover your investors. And this is what he said, quote, that conversion is actually to your benefit, believe it or not, because you actually can and probably will end up making more money by us exercising that option to convert your note into equity and then buying it back later when valuations go up. That doesn't make any sense. Again, the complex aspect. None of our businesses are suffering, emphasis added. As the notes mature, we are going to just pay off the notes. And of course, nothing was further from the truth. Only 1 week after that promotional webinar on June 20th, he sent out an email, quote, sent out an email to his investors. As with all businesses, Norada is subject to market factors that can impact its ability to make payments. Due to current market conditions and unforeseen financial challenges, we have decided to temporarily suspend distribution payments. This decision was not made lightly and comes after a thorough deliberation analysis of our financial position. The attorneys who filed the complaint said this was false and misleading. Market conditions had nothing to do with the inability to repay investors. Rather, it had to do with him doing 4,000 transactions a month on his credit card, siphoning off these funds. And then he said, quote, this requires us to exercise our right to convert your note and issue equity, aka membership interest, in Norada. You will recall that your note allows us to do that. Let me show you his cash flow projections that he said. In 2024, we're going to have 23 million with a net cash flow of 21 million. And up to 2027, we're going to double it to 44 million. And because of these payoffs, we're still going to have these net cash flows. Of course, the projections were as false as the entire thing. And he couched himself in terms such as mastermind businesses. He claimed that the mastermind businesses had total assets of $113 million. Let me give you another example of the complexity. In a August 2024 email, he communicated that the financial instruments of the e-commerce businesses were restricted and placed into an almost entirely debt-free holding company called Omni. In this letter, Santarelli stated Norada Capital invested $12 million into various e-commerce-based investments, and that Norada Capital owns 11.1193% of stock. So it's a situation where he's throwing a lot of facts at you, and what you're blinded by is that 15% return. He also he was a multifaceted entrepreneur. He said, I'm also into Broadway shows and, of course, cryptocurrency. He was indicted on Tuesday, September 9th, going to trial to next month. As I've said, white-collar crime is not a victimless crime. From Tony Salverde of the Orange County Register, let me just read you some sad quotes. Trisha Yerkchik, 44 of Dallas, heard about Norada from a Honolulu investment counselor. She checked out the company and found that Santarelli appeared to have a good reputation. Verdich invested $200,000 in October 23. By June 24, the monthly interest payments had stopped. Norada gave her equity in the company instead, a company that she believed had no valuation. Quote, there's no way he didn't know he was going to pull this, Yerchik said. It will absolutely affect my retirement. I have lost a lot of sleep and cried a lot of tears. She cheered the news Tuesday that Santarelli had been charged, but wondered investors would ever be made whole. Quote, so many people have been impacted by this. It's a step in the right direction, but what does it mean for my money? Retired attorney Bill Kean, 71 of Florida, sunk $700,000 that he earned by flipping houses. He too said he researched Santarelli and trusted him. Quote, now I'm in a place I never thought I'd be. When this happens, you beat yourself up. How could I be so stupid? He filed a lawsuit against Santarelli in September 2024 and received a default judgment of $750,000. Of course, he could never collect. The last victim was quoted in the article, Greg Lentz, a retired firefighter. He invested $400,000, hoping to create generational wealth for his 5 children. It was money I worked hard for. For a while, the monthly interest payments came as promised, totaling $180,000 in the payment step. Lance said it took 25 years of hard work to build up that money. Do I work another 25 years to get it back? We continue to see these type of investment scams. Hopefully, with the internet and access for better research tools, people can see through these, but we continue to see these over and over and over. And it's heartbreaking and it's crushing emotionally and physically for the victims of this crime. We'll follow this up. Thank you for joining Bob Coleman on Fraud Friday.